don't be fooled by the national media headlines. There's a lot of talk about how the housing market is completely imploding and crashing. It's everywhere. And this might be true in certain areas of the country that they were overbuilding, such as in Texas and Florida with all of its insurance issues and everything that's happening down there. But these blanket statements about the housing market just aren't true for the entire nation. And you know me, I'm not here to BS you, so I'm going to show you a market update with actual factual data of what is happening here in Central Washington. I had some great comments on the last video that we did, and so I'll be answering some of those questions. Somebody asked how these big builders in our area are impacting home values, and we'll take a deeper dive into that. So I'll see you in just a second. All right, so what we're looking at here is a piece of the Northwest MLS's backside. Every home sale that happens has to be recorded to this program. So what we're looking at is real-time data of what the housing markets are doing in Central Washington, and we're going to break it down into a couple of different areas. So let's talk about Cle Elum first. Here we are up here in this corner. It says Cle Elum. We are looking at a 3-year spread of the housing market, and here's what the average sale price looked like over the last 3 years. And then right here is going to tell you the change over the last 12 months. So as you can see, the Cle Elum housing market came down a little bit, 5.9% on the average sale price. I always like to look at price per square foot because it gives us a more accurate image of what's actually going on. It helps kind of close in that spread between the $1 million house and the $400,000 house. So in Cle Elum, we're still down a little bit on price per square foot at $455 per square foot, down 1.5% since last year. Cle Elum had a really hard market last year, and we see this a lot in communities that have a lot of second homes. So there's been a big impact with that there. Let's take a look at pending sales. We can see the market is starting to come back a little bit. We're starting to see more people come back to that Cle Elum market. And let's go back to that price per square foot. Okay. Sorry, I just want to take a look. So we're starting to see more people come back. Closed sales, same thing. We're starting to see a little bit of a climb. Back here in late 2023 to 2024, this is when that huge price and interest rates doubled. And I'm going to tell you, I had millions of dollars of contracts just kind of like exploding. Buyers backing out like crazy. And this is what it did to the market for closed sales. As you can see, it really, people pulled out of that market pretty heavily. But buyers are starting to steadily come back, which is great news for homeowners in Cle Elum. Days on market, it's coming down a little bit, so that's good news. Yeah, so that is a quick overview of what's going on in Cle Elum. We're going to see, we'll see a little bit more activity. I think we'll see that activity kind of come up a little bit during the summer months as well. June is typically a pretty slow time for the Cle Elum market for homes to sell between Memorial Day weekend and Father's Day weekend. There's a lot going on. There's graduations and people camping and kids getting out of school. So I think next month when we take a look at this, we're going to see a little bit of a stall, but then it'll kind of take back off again. Okay, let's take a look at Ellensburg. And we've always talked about, let's look at the price point. So average price point. Once again, we're looking at that May, and then we just see that dip. That's when interest rates really started taking off. And I think we're kind of at the bottom there. We're starting to pick back up, and I imagine that will stay true. So let's look at average price per square foot. Here it is again. Here's that huge dip in mortgage rates when they increased, and we're slowly seeing that climb out. So the average price per square foot in Ellensburg right now is $276. And this is for all construction. And somebody was asking me what they thought construction, all the D.R. Horton is building a lot in Ellensburg. And they were wondering on how that was impacting the community. And here's what I think about that. I think that if you were purchasing a home in one of those DR Horton communities, your appreciation is going to kind of be controlled by the builder until they are completely built out in these communities. Um, if you bought a house from them and they're now 2 years later building brand new homes, the same price, same floor plan, same square foot, the buyer's probably going to go for the new construction. So you're going to be on hold until that builder is out of that community. Do I think it's impacting the rest of the homes in Ellensburg? Not so much. It's what buyers are thinking about when they are buying a home is a lot of different things. They're thinking about the location, and these DR Horton homes are kind of on the outskirts of town. There might be a little, like their new community, there might be a little bit of freeway noise. They are going to have a little bit smaller property, so smaller backyards. So it really depends on what type of house that you have in Cle Elum on whether or not it's going to be impacted by these homes. But I think the majority, well, actually, let's take a look at this. I'll show you right here. So for all construction in Ellensburg, the average price per square foot is $276. Now, if we look at just new construction, their average is $253, and so they're selling their homes for a little bit less for price per square foot because that's what they're getting for it. But they've been working on increasing those prices. So as they do that, if you own a home in one of those communities, that'll help your appreciation a little bit. One of the things that will really help your appreciation, although I don't think a lot of us want this, but if there's tariffs and the building cost goes up on that new construction, that's going to push those home prices up, which will also bring your home price up. So that's kind of how I feel about the building that is happening in Ellensburg. There's not a lot of new construction. You have DR Horton doing those entry-level homes, and now Sage Homes, which is actually a family-owned company in the Wenatchee area that just started out in Ellensburg. They're building a little bit on the higher end. They're starting their homes around the 600,000. And I think that the way that they're building, I don't feel like they're overbuilding. I think that they're building appropriately. So I don't think that they're going to cause a big bust. Okay, so days on market in Ellensburg, you guys are going down in days on market. That's good. That means that there's buyers coming back. Pending sales, here we go, kind of flat since the beginning, since last year, which is a little bit surprising. I would have thought that that would have been starting to tick up a little bit. And closed sales, there we go. There is our closed sales are starting to tick up a little bit as well. Okay, let's take a look at Chelan. Right now, this is the time to be buying in Chelan if you're looking for any sort of deal. So here's kind of the scroll of what the average price is, but let's take a look at price per square foot. You can see it has came down quite a bit. Chelan is kind of in the slumps. The median, it's still holding on, but the average is down 9% year over year. So good time if you're looking for a deal on that beach house. Pending sales, they were climbing up, but it's May or June, so we're getting the May's report, and this feels pretty low for Chelan. Days on market, they're climbing, and sales volume kind of on the low side. So if you're looking for to time a market, quote unquote, this is a good time to be looking in the Chelan market. Okay. All right, Wenatchee, here we come. So Wenatchee, we are at an average home price of $577,000 with a 1.1% increase. Let's take a look at price per square foot. $278 with just a slight, this is how it looked last month as well. So year over year appreciation right now in Wenatchee, it's just kind of holding flat. Days on market, they are kind of holding flat. They're up there a little bit. If you're trying to sell your house in all of these markets, it's highly critical that you price your home correctly. Do not come into the market thinking I will start up here and slowly move down. You will very likely be hurting yourself by doing that. Essentially, once you start taking those price drops, you're going to start getting those lower offers. So pricing correctly is absolutely critical right now. Medium home price, that's came up 11% pending sales, starting to kind of do our seasonal tick up right here. And closed sales, same thing. Doing good. A lot better than what the Wenatchee area was doing last year. It's up 11%. So that is a quick overview of what is going on in these markets. If you were looking for a very specific price point, like the $400 to $500 or the $1 million to $1.2 million market, we can really hone these numbers in, and I can tell you what to expect, or maybe how to make a great offer. So thank you very much for joining me. I am Amanda Dallman, your Central Washington Realtor, and I will see you next week.